Welcome. This is the debate on the Premier League preview show, and we are at Stamford Bridge today for our debate. We're asking a very simple question. Who should be Chelsea number one? Mendy or Kepa? Who should be Chelsea number one? Mendy or Kepa? They've had a very interesting start to the season. The two goalkeepers have been competing the last year and a half to 2 years. But these days we are seeing all kinds of interesting things happening at Stamford Bridge. So your take on this? Who should be Chelsea number one?
I think for now Kepa. I think right now you have two high quality goalkeepers. You know their weaknesses, you know their strengths. So you keep playing them. When one makes a few mistakes, they remove him, bring the other one, keep it going. Then when the other one makes a few mistakes, so I think it works that way because remember you paid 70 whatever million for Kepa, and you come in, and it's always looked weird on paper that the 16 million goalkeeper was the number one. On paper, it just didn't look right. So it's not too surprising that Kepa has been reinstalled at number one, especially because Mendy's form has not been good. Mendy has made a lot of mistakes this season, and the truth is those mistakes are always going to come. And I've said this many times before, Mendy he's pretty slow on his feet, so his ball playing ability is not great. And if you are Graham Potter and you are very committed to playing the ball, Kepa is the more natural option. But we have also seen Kepa, kind of get into these jams, and a lot of those were confidence related, I feel. Right now his confidence is much better. Mm-hmm. So he's going to, kind of be better with his feet. But I still believe Mendy is better in terms of claiming crosses, dominating the area, and shot stopping. So you have to ask yourself, is the trade-off worth it? If you are thinking to yourself that, okay, I'm going to have my keeper only have to make saves 3 times in a match, but he's going to have to be playing 20, 30 passes a game, you want the one who's better at your feet because the passing is the action you're doing more. So it's more about the kind of what you are trying to achieve. If I was Chelsea coach, like if I had to pick a number one and stick with it, not do the baton system. I think the baton system might be the best because these are two keepers who do make mistakes. If I had to pick a number one, considering what Graham Potter wants to do, Kepa is the most obvious choice. No disrespect to Mendy because Mendy he's proven himself and he basically won them the Champions League with his form. So there's no disrespect there, but for what they are trying to do, it's Kepa all the way.
Okay, Emmanuel?
Well, I think for Kepa, if not because of Mendy's injury, I don't think he would have been given a chance. So, in as much as yes, Mendy was a best suspect, he was the best goalkeeper in the world, I think, a year or so ago. So that cannot be taken for granted. Yes, because of how Potter plays, you'd want a keeper who is good with his feet. But at Brighton, he had Sanchez. Sanchez isn't the most terrific keeper with the ball at his feet.
Basically.
Yes, but I mean, I get that part. But then we all know Kepa. When he's on form, he gets comfortable. That is when the errors come in there. So as a coach who is building a team and you'd want some consistency in your lineup, you'd want your keeper to consistently be playing to gain confidence and all those kind of things. Would you want to be just out there waiting for an error and then to change him? I think you'd have to make a decision. This is my first choice and I'm going with him. Yes, some teams, I think Inter does that. Barca also did that where they have a keeper for Champions League and the league. I mean, goalkeepers could play as long as 40 years. So no keeper wants to be doing that shop change and all those kind of things. So the coach will have to make a decision. For me, based on the errors I have seen Kepa commit, I think I'll give Mendy a pass. I would put him probably number one.
You don't think Potter should look at what Kepa presents to his team, the ability to pass the ball out of defense, the fact that he can use his feet. And somebody will argue and say he gave Mendy the chance at Leeds. Look at what happened.
Well, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you look at the errors Kepa has committed, there's nothing as compared to the errors Mendy has committed. So
committed a high-profile one at Leeds.
Yes, but he also, post-COVID, he just dashed Liverpool 2 goals, if I remember clearly. So that's when Sadio Mane scored. So he will have to make a decision. If for maybe because of the style you want to play, you don't want to keep Kepa in there. But if you are keeping him in there just so that when he makes an error, you bring Mendy in there, I don't think that others you well because then it doesn't fit your style. So you'd have to make a decision. There were rumors that Kepa wanted more pay or something of that nature, or he was leaving or something like that. So it's two things. If you stick with him, then you'd have to let Mendy go. But then
you don't believe in this rotation?
For me, no, I don't think it's the best because it doesn't give you enough time to actually build the confidence. It doesn't give you enough time to get minutes under your legs, and you know how keepers are. You are in one day, you are off one day. It changes a lot. It changes a lot of the dynamics and all those kind of things. So if you would go with one and let the other one go.
Okay.
So to say his point about the money and the contracts, he has a point that there might be a kind of nefarious kind of undertone that Mendy wanted to be paid as much as Kepa in his contract negotiation. If you drop him now, what's his reasoning for wanting to be paid as much?
Okay.
Because if you are number 2 now, can you really demand the same money as the number 1? Because it was already problematic that actually he was the number 1 and getting paid less than the number 2. So if you now make Kepa number 1, Mendy has no leg to stand on to demand similar wages to Kepa. So maybe it might even be an accounting thing, but he has used ball playing as an excuse. You never know. I'm not saying that this was happening, but there's also this undertone to Mendy's contract negotiations. You know, there are some red flags. And you know, usually when they leak these kind of wage demands to the media, it's to paint the player in a bad light. It's basically because they don't want to meet the player's demand. So that might even be why he's been dropped. Maybe we are rationalizing
but
ball playing kind of thing. There could be a whole kind of
shady reason.
But I just want to respond to your point about Sanchez. I guess Brighton had to play on the back foot for some games. So if you get what I'm saying, though you want to play progressive football most of the time, your keeper not being able to play when you're an underdog team in most situations is not as much of a hindrance. So I don't think the Sanchez example is. But
at the point they had Ryan imposed, he's even worse than Mendy.
There's a reason he's been sacked.
But I think Kepa, yes, that in as much as he's slow on the ball and sometimes he delays in making a decision. Those things can be coached out of him.
Do we think Kepa has earned his spot currently?
Oh, he's in great form.
Yes, with the last 2 performances he's the reason why Aston Villa didn't get anything in that game, and another reason why it's led to Gerrard being sacked. The odds were on that too. So.
No, I think Gerrard was sacked because when it's the big games, like I always say, they will perform. Right? And Chelsea, they showed this. They were they deserved their point.
They were draw against City too when everybody thought they would.
Who did they play this midweek?
They played
Fulham.
They played Fulham.
They were horrible. 3-0. For the first time in their history in the Premier League, they considered an own goal, penalty,
and a red card.
For the first time ever.
Horrible. I think Gerrard is an architect of his own.
But that's my point. The big games, they look good. They are like, this is a coach. Give him more time. Then they go and play the teams they should be competing against, and they just lie down.
But it's, it's Steven Gerrard handling the team. He was a player who thrived on the occasion. Yes. So you can understand why Villa would pick that character.
Another thing too is that the assistant manager they lost him. He's doing very well at PPR.
He's on top of the championship.
So we agree. Kepa, number 1?
I would say Mendy.
You say Mendy, but you think Kepa has earned it. So Mendy should now earn his return.
Oh no! If you want to go with Kepa, please let Mendy go. That's my take.
Your conclusion,
I want the baton. I want them to really. But I feel like at the very least, respecting Mendy and what he's done as former best keeper in the world, he should be cup keeper if you won't make him number 1. Okay. That's the bare minimum, I feel. If he's not going to be cup keeper, if he's not going to be number 1 in the league, at least those cup competitions, Champions League, he should be playing. Yeah. That's the bare minimum.